Yeah, and in summary, Star Trek Picard season 3 was actually okay. I mean, it wasn't
Until
perfect.
the end.
I just felt
fun,
like,
fun,
go on.
and that's a fun fact for you. You know that huge fuck off board cube at the end? I
Yeah.
saw people, they measured it, it's 25 kilometers wide.
Okay, fair.
So it's just huge.
I was watching Star Trek today. Actually, I was watching a TOS episode, and they don't make Star Trek like they used to back in the day. It was
Okay.
like the entire episode's about a guy who did a bunch of war crimes called like fucking Karot or something like that, and he's now become an actor in a play. And Kirk's the
Okay.
only person alive who can identify him. And it's just
What?
like these are the sort of plots you just don't get these
I
days.
yeah, I quite like the small scales of it, but it seems a bit weird. Wait,
Yeah.
what war crime? What war?
He was like a warlord, and he basically he did eugenics. He like murdered people,
Oh,
and then he was like he basically picked the best people out and then killed the rest in order to ration the food.
right. The
But
Kirk was
then,
there
but
to
then,
witness all
well,
of
then
this.
Kirk was trying to get the hots on his daughter, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
What?
And
Okay.
fucking um oh, how have I forgotten his name? I was literally just watching it. The Vulcan guy, Spock. That's his name.
Yeah.
Spock. The whole time was just like, "This is so sus. Why is the captain inviting this pretty young woman onto the ship? He would never do this." And then Bones the whole time is like, he's a human being. Why don't you sit down and have a drink with me? You know. Anyway,
Classic Star Trek.
Bones just trying to get Spock to drink some alcohol with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the Steam Demo Fest for spring. I actually don't know when the next Steam Demo Fest is because it might actually be soon. Let me look it up. June next month.
Yeah, I was saying it'd be summertime, right? So it'd be
Yep.
in the June?
I didn't look up the day. I just saw
Oh,
June.
okay.
But going to be talking about the festival as a whole was kind of similar to previous festivals. Not much has changed in my opinion. So I won't be going into that too much. I mean, at the moment, you're seeing some games that I don't recommend because I don't have much to talk about them, so they'll be the background until I get to talking about the ones I do want to recommend.
This is a nope category.
Tony, I have a VR category, even though I vowed to never play a VR demo again. And I have some VR. I played a VR demo that I thought was really good,
Oh, okay.
like an actual real VR game that was not made by like a established VR developer.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What so you looked at it and going, I'm gonna risk it on this one. I'm gonna give it a try regardless of the
I
problems of
just
previous
thought it
demos.
looked really interesting.
Oh, look at this font.
Okay, so let's go back a second just so I can shit talk this game. This is a game called Band Roll. So it was essentially just it's a mix of captivating gameplay and gorgeous visuals as well. It's like a rhythm game when you play as a ball. Tony, this is the tutorial, right? Do you know what
Yeah.
happens in the tutorial if you fail?
It's to start again.
You have to start the entire tutorial again.
Oh,
So
God.
you're trying to learn the buttons, and if you
Yeah.
fail the button, it restarts the entire tutorial.
Hardcore tutorial. Here we
Hardcore
go.
tutorial. Oh my god, this
Driver.
was so fucking frustrating. I was like, and the controls were so bad as well. I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm having to restart the entire tutorial. Who the hell puts failure states into a tutorial?
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It looks okay, I suppose, but yeah, okay, this is annoying.
Yeah, I've got
The hell is
notes
this on
since
a
it was
Haunted
so
Attacker
far away.
Deadman?
Haunted Attack of the Dead Man. So this is a boomer shooter. I believe it may have been running in the GZ Doom engine. But my opinion of it is that you're kind of aimlessly walking around World War II trenches. The boomer
It looks like
shooter.
an asset flip.
The boomer shooter is running in Godot engine.
Right.
So it looks like GZ Doom. And it
Okay.
feels like, because they've got this aggressive head bobbing, which I fucking hate.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to turn off. but they're emulating that aggressive head bobbing in the Godot engine. And there's no way to turn
Really?
it off.
Well,
So
yet they emulate. Okay.
we've emulated downgrades into our game, which, you know, I'm not always against,
Sure.
but the option to turn them off. I was playing a game called
Always have
Sludge Life
options.
yesterday, and it's like a visually very interesting game. One of the things that has like this heavy VHS filter that I could
Oh
see
yeah.
making people sick. There's an option to turn it off.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we like this for the aesthetic. We understand that some people just will be sick
Yeah.
if they're forced to play with this sort of stuff. I don't know.
I can't. I can't foresee a situation where head bob isn't just an aesthetic.
But yeah, this sucks. I was just walking around doing nothing. It was pretty boring. Oh, here's
Oh my
another
god.
boring boomer shooter.
Wait, what's this one called?
This one is called what's the name of it? Soul King.
Soul King. What?
Yeah, someone got really angry. They started sulking. Um,
I mean, I just if you say it in a different way, it sounds like Soul King, the King of Souls. That sounds like a cool game. I'm down for that. What the? What?
I wrote any notes for this. I may have just fucking played it and gone, nah, that was shit, and then closed it. Sometimes I wrote, oh, sulking, no. Kind of garbage 2D, 3D shooter crashed. Oh, the game crashed after about 3 minutes of playing, which is why I have 3 minutes of footage. I was like, this sucks, and it crashed. End of story.
Right.
Next up we have Super Greedy Cat. This was okay. I mean, I played it for a while, but there's just nothing interesting about it. It ran
Right.
okay, but it's sort of like a boring 2D platformer.
So they're trying to go like that. They're trying to like go with the aesthetic, but like have like
Yeah.
okay
It's
platforming.
like, it's super basic
mechanics.
platforming. It's fine, but it's kind of a bargain bucket game. This is the sort of game where you buy a bundle of Fnatic or something, and it's like every game in this. But you can get 10 games in a bundle for like £5, and this is one of the games. This is how I see this game in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
It just
That's
feels
fair.
like a bundle filler game, or like a what are those like mystery key things that websites do sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like
It's not offensive,
yeah,
but in that sense, it's not interesting, which sometimes is more offensive. It's just
yeah. It's probably like if like you
game
made
dev's
this
first
like
game. I feel like.
yeah, if you put this like on your like oh I made this like you'd be like oh okay you're a competent game developer, but like as a person buying the product you're like well what's it in why am I buying this?
And then
Yeah, that's
finally, for the
competent.
no category, we have Virtue's Heaven. One thing I've seen a lot more from this demo festival, actually, there's a lot more games that are trying to emulate the Game Boy era games. I've seen this pop up a lot more since this game festival. I think it's a lot more popular to emulate those sort of games now, as in like
Okay.
inspired by.
Yeah.
Um, it was basically trying to emulate a Game Boy game, but controlled worse than one, and was really finicky in like a Mega Man-esque platformer. I was really struggling with the controls on this.
I think I saw I think you streamed it on Discord this one quite
Yeah.
ages ago at this point.
Like, the wall climbing was so bad.
Yeah.
It's fucking sucked. The controls were so finicky on this.
Yeah. Maybe you can go back and fix that.
So let's move on to some good stuff. Let's go to VR. Let's start with the first game. This is a game called GAZZLERS. This was not the one that blew me away, but I thought it was a very competent game and it was a very competent demo. So this is basically a roguelike rail-based shooter on a train with upgrades.
Yeah.
So you're on a moving platform essentially. So you're on a train that's like moving along, and then basically enemies come at you, and you have to shoot at them with like these scrap guns, and then the amount you kill, you get money, and then you spend that money buying upgrades for your guns. And there's also some like dodging elements as well, where you can dodge out the way of bullets or put a shield up to block the projectiles,
Right. Okay.
which is quite fun. But it's an interesting system where it rewards you for killing more stuff.
Yeah.
So the more stuff you kill, the more points you get, and then you can buy more upgrades. I did actually end up finishing the demo, so.
Oh, okay. So it's just you getting here. Like you're not trying to like protect like
No,
a separate vehicle.
just
Separately.
your
Health
so if you see in the bottom of the car, there's a health bar.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
That's what I was looking at.
health.
Yeah, it's not the
So
car.
this is the shopping phase, and then you can also take, I think, 2 or 3 heals, but you only get to use them once.
Right.
Throughout your runs.
That's interesting.
So I thought there was some interesting design. Like this one, you take it,
robot.
and when you shake your gun, it increases the damage. There's other ones that change how you play. Like there was one where, so you see, I'm shaking my gun, and it's increasing the damage. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
There's some where you fire like a big burst of, you basically charge up a big shot.
Right.
But it reminded me sort of like, I was getting a lot of Borderland vibes from this, just because of the graphics, the idea of like the wasteland with people attacking you, the idea of having like really interesting gun combinations. I was getting those kind of vibes from this game. Ultimately, I thought it was a really cool experience. Hang on, I'll see if I can skip along to my second run, because I think I learned the game a lot better once I did the second run. After each run, you basically, the points you earn, you can then spend on upgrades. So there is like a permanent upgrade to the... it's not a strict roguelite sort of thing.
Yeah.
There is an upgrade over time. So this is the one where you hold the trigger to charge up a shot.
Okay, that's cool. So like, yeah, so you like get to choose.
And then when you fully charge up, you get like a beam showing you where you're shooting.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I think it's cool. There's different ways of firing the gun. I can't like that. I see there's like different bullet types and like different damage types at some point.
I don't know if there's different like damage types.
Okay. There's not like fire or like
to be honest, I don't fully know. Like the upgrades you could get were like health, extra damage, that sort of stuff.
Right. Okay.
It worked on the Vive. I can tell you that much.
Okay. That's always good to know. So was it Half-Life didn't, or Half-Life mods?
No, Half-Life 2 mod runs on the Vive.
What runs? Yeah. Not
I mean, there's some. Oh, I should say now. I tried to launch a game called Golf on the Moon because it was a golf game on the moon in VR, and it did not. And it did not launch. And I went to the dev. Because what you can do when you're down the demo, you go to the community hub page and you can go to the discussions and you can see what other people are saying. I do that a lot with VR games because I'm like sanity checking. Is it my headset? Is it like, am I doing something wrong? Right?
Yeah.
But there was a post where basically someone was saying the game just doesn't launch, and there was a bunch of people replying, yeah, same thing, and the dev just didn't respond. So
okay.
Kind of, yeah. You do, like if you're gonna go through the trouble of pulling out a demo on Steam for the demo fest, you might as well. You should probably go through. You shouldn't just like abandon your community page and maybe say to people, like, if I understand you may be like an indie VR dev, like that's like playing life on hard mode, like trying to make a VR game.
Hard to check if it works on other people's systems.
But you know, at least if it's broken, just respond to people and say, "Yeah, sorry, it's broken." Like even just doing that would help people, or just
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that maybe like he had to like rush it up, or they had to rush it up, and then they had to suddenly go on holiday, or like do some other like.
Yeah.
I don't know. They went to hospital. I don't know. I'm just trying to think why you wouldn't be able to respond.
This GAZZLERS game, it's pretty fun. I can see myself playing this. The next up is the game I really want to talk about. This is a game called No More Rainbows. And Tony, do you remember a game called Gorilla Tag?
I do remember a game called Gorilla Tag, yeah.
Somebody was like, the movement system in Gorilla Tag is sick. Why don't I take
Yep.
that movement system and put it into a single-player platformer game?
Oh, okay.
Like a single-player, like, platformer collectathon game. But not only did they do that, they sort of switched it up. It's now twisted. You are now basically the king of the underworld sort of thing.
Okay.
And the rainbow creatures have invaded your kingdom. So you're playing as like the bad guy. And
Okay.
you have to go around and murder the rainbow creatures that have invaded your kingdom.
I mean, they shouldn't be there. To be fair, I don't know if that makes you the bad guy.
You can see here, I'm moving with my arms. It is gorilla tag movement.
You're not a gorilla.
No, I am a beast though, which I think is a good.
Yeah.
I think it's good that they were like, how do we do gorilla tag movement, and you not be a gorilla? Oh, let's make you a giant
I like
beast.
the art style's kind of nice as well. I quite like it, like gradient.
So it's like you can tell by the tutorials it's designed to be on Quest. So I think they did a very good job of making a good-looking game that still looks good outside of a quest. Yeah. This is a really cool part that's not part of Gorilla Tag. You have claws, so there's certain surfaces in the game where you can pull out your claws and then use them to climb up surfaces, which is really cool.
So when you see those like slab-looking thing like that's climbable surface. Okay.
Oh, I turned my my Guardian like Steam VR wall sensor down when I was playing Half-Life 2 VR. I definitely punched a couple of lamps playing this. So these are the guys you have to get rid of, and you can just...
What the hell are they doing? They're everywhere.
You have to go and murder them, basically.
What the hell? Okay, well they deserve it. Like this is evil. They're having fun. No.
Initially, I was just going up and like touching them, and like, but you can just like straight up like spike them, yeet them, get creative ways of murdering them, which I find kind of hilarious.
I love the whole. Like, when their placement is it kind of like collectathon killing? Like
yes. These are this game is a collectathon, but you're essentially collecting enemies to kill.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, which I think is hilarious. Basically, there's hub worlds. This guy's having a grill. Yeah, there's tons of these guys. All doing like interesting. There was one riding around on a fucking little bicycle. This guy's on a swing. There's me murdering him.
Love how like they have like sprinkles come out when you kill them.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
How dare they defile my kingdom?
What they
with their spray paint? You look at your hand and it'll tell you like your objectives and stuff. So you have these hub worlds, and then I'll just maybe skip it forward a bit. Oh, it's showing the rainbows, people coming in and affecting everyone.
It's disgusting, it's what it is.
So I think just for the demo you get access to the first hub world and all its levels.
Right.
So in the hub world there's a bunch of these guys to kill, and then killing these guys is essentially like keys. Like you need a certain amount of them collected to unlock the gate to a new level. And you can collect, so you can either choose to collect more in the hub world, or you can go into a level and collect more inside the level. I was confused by that. Again,
okay, so that rainbow structure there, like that's
the final level. I just haven't unlocked that yet.
Right, yeah. So I'm just saying that. So that's how they're like depicting the different. Okay.
Yeah. Skip forward to a level, I guess. So this is level 1. So once you've collected 10 of these guys, or killed 10 of these guys, depending on how you want to look at it, you unlock the level. And then each level, usually in games I like to do as many collectibles as I can first. So I'll just explore and collect, in quotation marks, kill as many friends as I can. I always find it like... people always find it really weird how like easy it is to kill random things in VR. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I remember I was streaming budget cuts to a friend, and there's friendly robots in budget cuts, and you can basically just go around murdering them all.
But why?
And so I was going, and my friend was like, almost upset that I was just murdering these friendly robots, but I was like, they're literally NPCs.
Yeah, there's no reason to kill them. I can't believe it. Well, I think it just shows that you're at least slightly evil.
I got no more time for rainbows.
Well, I think that's a fair. I think that's fair. I think this is a. They should not have come in and put rainbows and grass everywhere.
So here's a level.
Right.
So the level consists of you get these guys to get bonuses with. So there's a collection stage. There's also like these pinata unicorn things in the level, which is like the collectible for that level.
Yeah.
And then once you finish the level, there's then a speed run. So there's a 1-star, 2-star, and a 3-star. And I found myself, like, after defeating each level and getting all the collectible things, I was like, oh, now I'm going to do the speed run, which I was like, that's a really good idea, because it is really... One of the cool things about Gorilla Tag is there's a lot of, like, movement tech. So it's, like, interesting to see how fast you can get to somewhere. But there's no there's not any objectives in Gorilla Tag. It's more so community-driven. It's, like, make your own fun. But with a single-player version of that, which... You know, if I had to think of a way, I probably wouldn't be able to come up with something as interesting as this. They were like, well, how do we use that movement but add like interesting objectives to it? It's like, well, moving fast is really fun. Why don't we just add a speed run start to each level? Which is like a really cool way to do it. Which I thought was really cool. I'll just skip ahead of that. Show you the speed run. Is this the?
It reminds me of any like era of gaming, but like it just seems.
Gaming. I got 2-star there, did I? Oh, this is me doing a speed run now that I've got the collectibles. I think. I'm just trying.
You don't need the collectibles in the speed run.
No. Once you've collected the collectibles, you don't need them anymore.
Yeah, so the speedrun, it just gets the other end, basically.
The only objective for the level is to get to the end. The collectibles are all optional, but they're also how you unlock the next levels. So you you're incentivized to get them. I mean, I was playing
like 2 separate runs.
I was playing a platformer recently, and it's like Cow the Kangaroo, and it was like there was enemies in it that you could kill, but there was almost no reason to kill them most of the time. And it was just like, why would you ever unincentivize the player from killing the enemies? It's like, you should always, if they're part of the game and part of the gameplay, you should try and get the player to want to interact with that or engage with it.
Yeah. Or have some sort of benefit that's not maybe weird if you don't want to actually kill them. That seems odd.
From a comfort standpoint, they had a vignette mode. I mean, I'm someone who's very used to Gorilla Tag movement, so I'm pretty fine with this. I mean, I stream as a professional Gorilla Tag streamer. You can read my Twitch bio. Did I get it? Oh yeah, I got the 3-star. This game is really, really fun. I would highly recommend this to anyone who has a VR headset. I think the demo's down now. I still had it downloaded when it went down. But I think it's coming out soon. It says Q2 2023. So that's about now, isn't it? Are we in Q2 yet?
Well, it will either be... Well, yeah, I guess we're technically in Q2, right?
Have a look.
Because Q1 will be like from the start of the year, and then it's like, I swear, like April time was the start of Q2.
I've seen Q2 2023 and it corrected me to GQ 2023.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're in the current quarter. Apparently it ends on the 30th of June. So
yeah.
It should be releasing this month or the next month. We'll have to wait and see whether they can keep to that schedule, but hopefully they can, because this game is really fun. Let's move on to the next game. I as always, I tried to play Golf on the Moon, but I couldn't. But I'm keeping up the tradition of playing as many golf games as possible.
Oh, for goodness sake. There's always more golf.
So this is a game called Deltatile, which is essentially a golf puzzle game.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
I didn't like it at all. I literally played it because it was a
Really?
golf game, but
Right.
it's much more a puzzle game, I would say. I did not understand the mechanics at all at first, and then I kind of only understand it slightly. Essentially, you have to get the ball to the end, but then sometimes your path is blocked, so you have to like teleport switch tiles, and
Right.
I just it was very confusing at first. I would say that. Um, I don't think I'm going to play this on release. But if you're into puzzle games that look like golf, I mean, you might be
I
interested in
just
this one.
Yeah, I'm just curious about what the actual the puzzle mechanics are. It's like you're moving, you're switching places of
The position of the ball and the last
what?
position where a swap occurred determine which block gets. Oh, the way you move your ball is how the block gets switched. So you can move the
Yeah.
ball like in a direction one at a time, as long as you don't just move off the edge, right? And then you can use the direction you move the ball to move blocks. It's very. I wrote down in my notes. Yeah, it's a puzzle golf game, but it's a little bit too confusing for my tiny monkey brain, is what I wrote down.
Yeah. Well, I'd say
Uh,
like sometimes it's not even like I don't know. I don't think some puzzle games are like they're hard and stuff. It's like sometimes it's like just not the way you want to think or the way you like enjoy trying to solve problems. Sometimes it's just as simple
yeah,
as that.
but
It just
yeah,
doesn't gel well.
it does get pretty. It starts to get a bit more complicated
I'm
later
I'm
on.
s- I'm very confused by what you're actually doing. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, so was I. Um, Next up we have Golfinite. It's sort of a mix between arcade and golf simulation. Um, but it was a little bit too much on the simulator side. I'm more of a fan of pure action 3D golf.
Right, right.
My favorite golf games are Golf for Your Friends, Golf Gang, Golf It, stuff like that, right? Whereas this is more so an arcade. Like there's arcadey stuff in here, but it's very much more about in those games you kind of whack the ball, and then you can do stuff like spinning, but it's mostly just get the ball to the end. We're just trying to simulate it as easy as possible. It's not about like being close to golf. It's about just having a good time. Whereas this
Yeah.
is very much more let's have arcadey interesting stuff, but it's still very much a realistic
It's
simulation of golf in the same way where
yeah.
you have like you have to switch putters, you have to look at the wind, you have to look out for
But
different terrain.
is
The
that the
ball
best
moves.
parts of golf though?
I mean, I don't play golf. I play golf
No, but
games.
I know, but it's like I need to. It's like kind of like trying to get like the best. I don't know. I thought that's like what made golf fun in my opinion. That's why I like Wii golf is like you have to decide like what putt you're using or where you're going to
I
land and
mean,
stuff.
Wii golf is a completely different
No,
kettle
I
of
but it
fish.
has wind, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of this style of golf. I mean,
Right.
I'm more so of a fan of just straight up arcade golf. I guess the fan of golf I am is of the lowest common denominator golf, where it's just like I just want to hit a ball while I talk
Right.
to my friends. I'm not really in
I
it
just
for
find that
the.
incredibly boring. Like I want something like this where it's like there's like some stuff to think about.
Yeah, I mean
I might look at this actually.
there is games that they are more accurate to what it would be like to play golf, but personally that's just not what I'm in it for. I mean, this game is fine. It was okay for what I played of it, but it's just personally not a game for me, I feel like. So,
Okay.
and then we have Zen Golf. So yeah, I thought Zen Golf was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the best golf game I've ever played, and there were some weird like little things that annoyed me, like for example, you couldn't rotate the camera while the ball was moving and stuff like that. There was like weird stuff they could have changed to make it better. But ultimately, it was fine. I like this style of golf game. It reminds me of a little golf journey.
Yeah, I like this. I
But
like the aesthetic is very nice as well.
yeah, it's an aesthetic piece of golf. I like these sort of golf games where it's just this again is like a very sim. This is more like mini golf. It's very. I guess that's what I like. I like mini golf games more than I like
Yeah,
golf green simulators. I guess.
I would like a combo like in my dream golf game be similar to Golf Night. Actually, no, maybe okay. Okay, that's Wii Sports with more like crazy golf stuff. So just like absolutely insane, but you still have to like have wind speed and like choose your
I mean,
putter.
I love the stuff with the really crazy stuff. Like I love Golf Gang, where there's
Oh
modes where
yeah,
you just hit the ball. You can hit the ball immediately after you've hit it, and you're basically just racing to the end. And then you have like gliders and stuff like that. And I'm just like,
yeah.
that is like real like crazy taxi levels, like arcade golf sort of stuff. Um, yeah, I thought this one was probably the most enjoyable one from what I played. Um,
Okay, it's definitely the prettiest golf game.
yeah, there were some weird things about the demo, like um, that there was no way to quit the game. The font was weird. Uh,
Yeah, the fun is weird.
Again, that not being able to move the camera until you finish your shot. Some stuff with like the way you would go up slopes and stuff like that is kind of strange.
Yeah, the physics don't seem quite right with the slopes. But I guess it's like it's all tweakable, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
it could be tweaked. It's not like it just seems slightly off in all those aspects you pointed out. Yeah, it's just the gravity's too low. Like it just seems like balls take a while to pull
Uh,
down.
there was missing some, like you couldn't restart holes, I don't think.
There's no like level selector stuff you've done.
No, I think it was split up.
Interesting.
If I remember correctly, it was split up into like a course. So this was like all these levels are on a course, and if you wanted to play it, you had to play through the entire course again.
Okay, right.
Um, but there was like a bunch of stuff that was like, okay, this needs some more polishing, or like if it needs more features. But the dev was in like the discussion comments, basically saying, yeah, this is stuff we know, we're working on it. So that was nice to
Okay.
see at least. So
Yeah,
hopefully by the
it's
time this
good to know.
releases, they've worked on some of this stuff and made it a more smooth experience. Because I thought it was pretty fun to play. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
the best golf game
Okay.
I played, but it was
I'm
okay.
getting okay, this is a complete tangerine, but I'm getting a
Yeah,
weird I'm just thinking of I'm trying to think of an asymmetrical golf game.
yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at this map. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if like one ball had to go the green way and the other ball had to go the bridge way, and like make a whole
Oh,
game about
golf
that.
race.
Yeah, but like asymmetrical golfing because like you have like different abilities or different like I don't know
Wait, so would
different handicaps
the
depending on who
person
you
that
are.
going across the bridge, would their course be exactly the same as the other person's, or would it be
No,
slightly
no,
different?
it'd be different, but like you'd have to try and I don't know. Like I'm not. I don't. I think there should be some attempt to make it fair, but I'm thinking more like making it just like fun or funny
Yeah.
in terms of like why it's so different.
Let's move on from the golf section and go to Bionic Bay. So this is just the uncategorized section now. This I played a bunch of games and they're all kind of all over the place for their
Okay.
genre. So we'll just go like random picks. I think I played like another 30 demos overall. So um, go through them. I think I streamed Bionic Bay to you on Discord while I was playing it.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. It's very. I can't remember.
So it's a platformer. I got my notes here. Inside vibes.
Yeah.
It's got like it kind of reminds me of like Portal fast-paced platforming puzzles.
Was this the one that
Uh,
is like the demo just seemed to go on forever and ever?
yeah,
And it was
I
like, but
think
like every
like
single
the footage I've
map was
got,
really detailed.
the footage I've got here is like an hour long. So
Yeah.
I've got like the whole demo on here, I think. I was very confused by the settings sometimes. I wasn't sure which way I was supposed to be going or like what was in the foreground and what was in the background sometimes.
Yeah, it was a little bit
Um,
ambiguous.
I think the whole vibe of it was meant to be some sort of like strange area.
Yeah,
You
because you
can't.
try. Yeah, because you can't quite make out anything right. I mean, like you don't know what the world is, and it doesn't explain anything. You're just like, what the
Yeah,
hell is
but
going on?
it has that like silhouette kind of look to it,
Yeah.
where it's like inside a limbo, or more so limbo. It's like you're very far
My
away from the camera. But I thought
yeah.
the art style and the graphics were very nice looking. I thought they were really cool.
My question
Um,
is, what I never understood what the motivation was. That we just seem to be moving for some reason.
well, when you play a platform, everyone knows you keep moving to the right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's fine. But from the like, there's clearly like a story or like some sort of storytelling with the world. I'm just like, what? Why are
Um,
we doing? Why are we going through the world?
Oh,
That's what I want to
this
know.
is something I wanted to mention. When I launched it, it had three launch options. So it had the normal demo, it had a
Yeah.
Vulkan version,
Oh,
and then it had Play Bionic Bay Demo DirectX 12 brackets Steam Deck friendly. So it seems
okay.
like I've seen this more and more now with Steam Next Fest demos. There is an attempt to get the demos running on the Steam Deck, and I never thought like maybe a good way to try a lot of these demos would be on the Steam Deck, or as a proof of
Hmm.
concept that, like, hey, by this platformer or whatever, you can play it on your Steam Deck when it fully comes out. I thought that was a really good idea.
Yes. Especially like yeah, especially like a platform like
Like
I can
this
see this
sort of
being
game, I
really
could
fun
see
on the
be
Steam Deck.
very. I didn't try this out on the Steam Deck, but from what I played on the PC with the controller, it seemed like it would run perfectly on the Steam Deck. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
particularly heavy game, so I think that would be a very good use case scenario for it. Um,
I assume you get a lot of battery life out of something like this. I don't assume it's not too heavy.
so Bionic Bay, an ordinary man in an extraordinary world. Bionic Bay is a new kind of 2D platform that introduces a unique swap mechanic, allowing players to
Oh
interact with
yeah.
the physics-based world in new ways. The immersive gameplay is completed by spectacular environments and great level design.
It's
I
a
think one of the biggest strengths of this is the environments and the art around
yeah.
them. I think I want to say it's hand drawn art. It looks like it's hand drawn. I'm not sure, but it looks very, very good.
Well, even if it's not, they've done a good job. Even if it's not, like to make it look like that. So whatever their technique is, it's very well executed.
Skip ahead to.
But yeah, I forgot the swapping because I remember I think I watched all of the demo you played. That I think it's like it
It
took
was like,
ages to get
hang
to
on, let
the
me go back.
swapping component.
I was climbing on I'm climbing on
Oh yeah,
some stars, and then I go up here, and then you have like this gorgeous like sunlit tree, and I'm like, this looks amazing.
but why is there a tree? I thought it was pipes, and so I'm very
You go
confused.
into pipes, and then sometimes you always keep seem to be going from the outside back into the inside. I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of like teasing the outside, being like you're trying to get out of this mechanical jungle, I guess. But I, I mean, the story
But I guess
is
are
never
those in
like
the
explained to you. It's all just through the environment.
are those not mountains in the background or like massive rocks? Maybe those like maybe they're artificial structures.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting. Like it makes you question what the hell's going on. It
Let's
looks
skip
interesting.
ahead to some skipping back out. So you eventually get the ability to swap with different items. So whenever you swap with them, you teleport to where they are, and they teleport to where you are, and you need to use this to like sort of solve puzzles, which is quite interesting. Because you will sometimes you'll need to like teleport a heavy object into the way of a fan blade or a laser beam, and then use that to basically get rid of an object so you can get through. So it's sort of this like. I mean, the teleporting mechanic reminds me a lot of a game called the Swapper. I mean, the Swapper was very much you swapped. yourself with another astronaut. It was like an astronaut game, and it was very like slow
Yeah.
paced, and you
Yeah.
were swapping yourself with another one. But this is very much more you're just grabbing random objects. I mean, the speed and the platforming reminds me a lot more of like Portal, where it's like you are doing this like puzzle solving, but you're trying to do it in like a very fast paced physics way, which I quite
Yeah.
like.
Parkour
I
puzzling.
never felt like I was having to slow down too much. I felt like I could always keep going fast, and as long as I made the right decision quickly, then I was rewarded, which I quite liked. I thought was quite good.
It's still just such an interesting environment. The camera, I would say that the camera work is like well done. Like it's following, I guess, the map more than the character. Very well. It's always interesting.
Yep.
It's fast paced and interesting. Wasn't there like a part where it's like it took a while to get past like a bomb section? I can't. So you're trying to fall past some bombs.
So this is the same
These
people
bombs,
who
yeah.
made Badland and Badland 2 worked on this game.
Did they make Badland Chugs?
You know, so Badland is a. I feel like I've seen this before. It's another platformer. It looks like, but it has like a interesting art style with lots of stuff going on in the background. Um, yeah, interesting. So they've made some other games that look a little bit like this that seem to be they're very positively reviewed. So it seems like the developer has worked on some good stuff before, which is cool to see.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, like there's different color changes, there's different puzzles. It just keeps going.
And
It
this
just keeps
and
getting
this was
more
the
interesting.
demo.
Yeah, this was the demo. It was like an hour of just pure puzzles, platforming, art. It was great. I just
I
kept
just
going.
I just
I was like, how much more are you going to give me? Because like, how long is the game? Like, because I'm playing an hour just in the demo,
yeah,
sort of thing. Um, yeah, I fucked with this game heavy. I'll just say that and move on because I think it speaks
very
for
good.
itself.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Bleak Sword DX. So another demo festival, another Devolver Digital game. Uh, so this is published by Devolver. It's made by a more 8-bit, and this one's interesting because I think it's another Apple Arcade to PC
Oh,
move, or it's originally a mobile game,
right.
and it's moved over to PC now. Yeah, so I've got it written down here. It used to be an Apple Arcade exclusive, and now it's being published by Devolver and is coming to PC. Um, it's sort of like a distilled 3D, 2D Dark Souls roguelite. I love the art style of the perspective, how you have like these 3D tile planes you move on, and then they have like these 2D, 3D assets on them with these like 2D sprites that you fight, which I was like, that's really interesting. I think the art style is like one of the big strengths, and I guess that was one of the big strengths when it was on Apple Arcade was that it was a
Yeah.
very visually good-looking game. I don't know if you saw the news recently. Apple Arcade just put out a bunch more exclusive games, and they got another one from one of my favorite devs, the guys who do What the Golf. They've got a brand
Oh,
new game called What the Car,
okay.
which is an Apple Arcade exclusive. So like I don't know. I was listening to the WAN show, and they were saying like Apple clearly cares about games because so as someone who's used Apple Arcade, I think it's a really good product, and they are actually like funding developers to make games for the service sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I wonder when we will get like games like What the Car on PC, because I think it's it looks like a
Yeah,
really
how
good
long is
game.
the exclusivity deal, I suppose? Because they must be paying for exclusivity to some
Mm.
extent.
So I remember like Hades on Epic. Epic like funded part of the development of Hades,
Yeah.
which is why it was on Epic for a long time. Um, but what was I saying? Oh, It's weird how much effort Apple puts into mobile games, but if you want to game on a Mac, they're just actively trying to stop you. It's just very
Yeah,
strange.
it is strange. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. In a way, does it make sense? Because like maybe like they say that well, you either like you're either photo editing or you're doing business on a Mac. You're not playing games. I think people would hack about. Like, I think if they enabled games though, but they would have to enable like a certain amount of like not hacking, but like tweaking and fiddling that like PC gamers do. I don't know. It does maybe
You
make
sort of just.
maybe more console like.
I think I put the whole demo on this. It's sort of you go from level to level killing enemies.
Yeah.
This very much like precise, almost Dark Souls-y like combat, where it's about blocking and striking at the right time. And then at the end of the level, you get like XP and gear. But the way it's set up is like a roguelite, so you can die once, and if you do, then you lose all of your gear.
Right.
But if you come back and you defeat that, once you level up, you get upgrades. If you defeat that area without your gear, then you actually get to continue.
Okay.
So I think on this run I died to the boss because I had no idea what he did, and then I came back and killed him, sort of thing. That was pretty cool.
So you come back with basic gear effectively, but then you have to get your stuff back. You're trying to get your stuff back, I suppose.
Well, if you die again, then you just ends the run basically and start again.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting. I wonder how this works on the mobile phone, if it's... Because it feels very, like, purpose-built with like, the blocking and the attacking on the controller, so...
I guess they would have big... But I guess the way that it's isometric, there'd be space like on either side of the area to have, like, touch buttons. The way it's zoomed out.
Let's skip ahead to the boss. Here's the boss.
Oh, it's okay.
Level 10.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to move very quickly on a phone.
Well, some people have gaming phones. I don't know if you know this.
On iOS though.
I've seen like I think does Asus have like a gaming phone? I know
Yeah,
Razer
there's
had a
ROG gaming phone, but that's not iOS. I don't understand.
I mean, like
this on an iPhone.
The iPhone silicon is very good for like what it does.
Yeah.
It is very like performant for its. Yeah, so it says when you die, you lose your current experience points and items. You have one chance to retrieve them, but immediately beating the level where you just died. So I think I lost all of my gear and XP, but I came back and immediately defeat the boss, so I got to keep it, which was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it's like you get one more chance when you die, basically.
It is a worse. It's harder because you haven't got the same stuff, but you can do it. You get yourself back.
Well, I know the mechanics now.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I've sort of like. I have IRL experience,
so
not in-game.
If you get yourself back, can you die again? Or...
I don't know. I think this is the final fight of the demo.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know what would happen after that point.
I do like the look at this though.
Yeah, aesthetically it looks very cool. Yeah.
I also like the combat and the movement.
That was the end of the demo. So yeah.
Did I get one of my problems with Elden Ring and when I actually played personally?
Okay,
the movement.
We have to talk about this game.
What is this?
Okay, I saw this and I said, "What the fuck is this?" in the page, and I clicked on it and I was like, "I have to play this because it looks fucking okay." Epilepsy warning! Epilepsy warning! Epilepsy warning!
What's it actually called?
It's called Extreme Evolution Drive to Divinity. And after I played this, I went to the discussion boards to see if anyone else played it, and I think I was the only. When I clicked on, I was like, I may be the only person who's ever played this demo. It is so fucking strange. The best way. Hang on, I wrote down the best way to describe it. Hang on, let me find it.
What the hell is going on? You give an egg to a blip.
It's like It's sort of like a Metroidvania on acid. So you
Right.
you have to collect genetic materials that let you transform, which helps you unlock more permanent materials and levels to unlock.
Not enough genes.
So once you've unlocked more genes, you then can transform into different forms, and these different forms help you beat different levels, but you can only beat those different levels once you unlock certain forms. It's very strange.
But what are these levels?
Art is subjective.
What is this UI? I have no idea what you're selecting and where you're going. What the hell is... What?
I'll read the store description to see if this helps us. I played this for like 24 minutes, so I did actually spend quite a bit of time playing this. And also, I was watching the frame counter on this while I was playing it. I was running it on a 4080 and a fucking 7700X. I was going down to like 20 FPS at some time. So
well, it looks like it's stress testing your computer, to be honest with you.
It's not particularly optimized, this game, but you know what? Neither's art. Extreme Evolution is an expressive platformer adventure. Movement is your power. Transform, drive, run, split, tumble, and launch yourself. Discover new forms and evolve as you explore this organic underworld open world. That is the store description page for this game.
So you have a cost and a max cost, and like you changing form costs.
Yeah.
Gee, right. But why is the level so weird?
But then when you collect these orbs, these give you new maps that you can go to. And they're called like Outer Divine, Heaven. And then they're sort of like, this exists on the Earth plane, this exists on the other plane.
I only assume they were on acid.
Well, that's why I wrote down. I was like, they had to be on fucking something. But I was like, is this guy's first game? I click on his profile. It's a guy called Sam Atlas, right? And he's made other games. There's a game called Space Hole 2020, and it is just another. It looks like this. It is like these trippy acid things, and there's like weird shit going on. And I'm like, this is this guy's genre of games. He's got a series called Space Hole, and he's made 3 of them. He made one in 2016, one in 2018, and one in 2020. He just keeps making these.
What, those cars?
Yeah.
What?
One of the forms you can unlock is becoming a car, and you need that to beat certain traversal puzzles.
Right. Okay, good. Next question then. What engine is this in?
I don't remember. I'm going to say Unity, probably.
It's like... If he's made other games like this, he must have found a way to make things look trippy. Oh my god. I don't understand.
When you collect raw... I don't know. When you collect raw genetic material... Oh, I got the look. Oh, look's quite interesting because essentially it's real cheap, but it just lets you look around a level for more stuff to unlock. And then levels will have these chains genetic material where you only unlock them if you... basically get all 4 of them within the time period. Yeah.
Right.
So, for me personally, I'm more offended when a game's boring than if it sucks. This is a really at least this game's super fucking interesting. Like, you could probably write a thesis just studying the guy who made this game.
Yeah.
The bone artery, let's go.
Why?
I don't know. I played this for like 20 minutes, so I must have thought there was something worth keep playing for. It is kind of engaging in a way that is hard to explain. I don't know if I would play the full game with this, but I definitely got some entertainment value out of streaming this to some friends.
I guess I'm glad it exists. I wouldn't play it.
Oops.
What?
Bowl.
The man-made bowl. Sure.
I can skip ahead. I've got ring. Oh, I've got his car. Oh, there's prey.
Hey. What?
You have to bind them to keys. And then I'm turning into a car. Oh, you can't control direction on car. So you essentially just have to like you have to line yourself up in a different form, and then you go into auto mode, and then you have to like pray that you like drive in the right direction.
Right. Excellent. Because cars famously can't steer. It's
Exactly. Well, you go from egg to blip, so you can get down the hole, and then you go auto, so you can try and get up the wall to get that genetic material. I mean, the Metroidvania parts are there. I mean, I'm having to use different abilities to unlock new areas.
true. Yeah. That's definitely the way to do that, but I don't understand the rest of it.
I mean, they call it an expressive platformer, and I gotta say, this is the most expressive platformer I've ever played.
Yeah. You've already come.
Yeah. Guys, Extreme Evolution Drive to Divinity. What an experience. Let's see what we got up next. Oh, FlipScapes.
Sorry, what? What?
FlipScapes. It's essentially Peggle.
Oh, I've seen this.
What's it called? Peggle sort
Pinball.
of breakout. Pinball. Oh, did you see there? It showed off a Steam Deck. I'm not playing this on a Steam Deck, but it just goes to show you this probably would be a good game to play on the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah. Those bouncy mushrooms, I like that.
Yeah, I thought this was a fun little demo. It reminded me of that. It was like that mix of like pinball breakout and like Peggle, where you had like an objective to do on the level, like get all of these so you can continue to the next level. I'm a big fan of stuff like Peggle. I think it's a very undervalued market where essentially PopCap made these games, EA bought them and put them in the graveyard / making Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare games. That's the only thing they seem to let them do these days. Again, I've never been a huge fan of pinball because it seemed kind of pointless to me. I like having objectives. And Pinball's objective is basically like a wave game. You're just trying to survive.
Yeah, the problem. Pinball's like a classic arcade game, right? Where it's just that you're trying to get higher points. So it's kind of like it's kind of competitive.
Well, there was two ways to make arcade games, right? There was you had like the classic arcade games where you play at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever. Or like House of the Dead, where they try to make them as hard as possible. So when you wanted to continue, you would have to spend more money. You have like different heroes that have different powers, very Peggle-esque. You have to spend as much money like doing your restarts. And then Pinball was like, well, let's just make a game that you can't ever finish, so you keep having to restart it when you die. And then the fun,
you pay for more balls.
The fun is like trying to survive for longer, I guess.
I think but I think I'm kind of with you. Is like I think if there was like now we're past the arcade era. I know some people like arcade games, but it's not for me personally. Like I think a story-based pinball game would be kind of interesting. Maybe not a story, but like an objective to complete level, then you go to the next level.
There's a game called Yucca Island Express, which is essentially like story-based like platformer pinball game. I've got the full game. I need to play it at some point because I
bought the full game.
We've done like a spotlight on it before.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like an interesting game.
Yeah, that's definitely a pinball. But I'm thinking more like in terms of like maybe more pure pinball is like just like actual like pinball levels that like static instead of like a whole moving game. But this is interesting.
It's there's different heroes. I'm trying to remember what this guy did.
Is this Ching?
No, that's how you always start the level. There was only a couple of heroes you could select from. Let's see what he did. Oh, you get an extra ball. That was it. I mean, the other guy, you like summoned a ball in the level as it was going on, was a lot more engaging, whereas this guy was like, yeah, you get to go again. I was like, oh, okay. That's not that engaging. Honestly, this was pretty fun. I could see myself playing this. I mean, it's not like gonna get any awards or be a groundbreaking game, but it was just some. It was just some fun. Yeah.
Goal-based.
I recommend this to people. It's fun.
Yeah, it's an alright game. Especially on a Steam Deck.
Oh, update on that game I just showed off. somebody commented on it, like a bunch of ASCII words that look like a demon's trying to be summoned, and said, "Help! I can't stop playing this game." So I'm not the only person in the world who played Divinity
Yeah,
original.
but
What the fuck?
it sounds
Extreme
like someone else
Evolution
is
Drive to
stuck
Divinity.
playing.
Yeah, they're still playing it to this day. Let's move on. Next up we have Gravity Circuit. Again, another one of these Game Boy Advance style games. I wrote down, I don't want to play Mega Man anymore. It's too hard for me. Okay.
Are you Shredder? What's going on?
I used to play... I had Mega Man on the Game Boy as a kid, and I could never beat a fucking level on that. Mega Man's so fucking hard, dude. I don't know how people beat... Like, I played Super Mario on my Game Boy as a kid. I could beat Super Mario.
Yep.
I could beat Super Mario in hard mode. Why is Mega Man so fucking hard?
I don't know. Not for me. I don't know what it is with Mega Man, but it's like not the way I want to play this.
I think by the time I played this game, I was like, I've played, and because I just downloaded a bunch, because I downloaded a bunch of games based on what I thought looked cool, and then usually what I do is I go on Reddit and I see if anyone recommends a certain like demo and goes, oh, this is really good, you should try it. So I download demos based on other people's recommendations, because there's just so many that it's easier to just filter them by ones you're interested in and then ones that get good recommendations. There was a grappling hook mechanic that I just could not get along with. I hated it. I was trying so hard to get this grappling hook mechanic to work. I think I'm not a huge fan of grappling hook mechanics in like these sort of 2D platformer games, like with a controller. Because it's so hard to aim a grappling hook while you're moving on a controller.
I guess that's been.
I was struggling to aim grappling hooks on Metroid Dread as well, because you had to shoot them at like specific locations, but then you had to do it in like midair. It was not. Maybe I just suck, but man, there is a lot of these Game Boy-esque throwback games. I did not get along with this grappling hook mechanic though. The game seemed okay from what it was. Like, it wasn't terrible. Soundtrack's fine, the art's good. It was more redeeming than the other like Game Boy game I showed off earlier, but ultimately I was like, this grappling hook mechanic seems kind of core to the game. I think I either need to get it or kind of just move away.
I will say this seems like a very precision grappling hook game. There's like other games that I think I like with grappling hooks that are very like, it just...
I love grappling hooks in games. It's just... This one was more a precision platformer. Yeah,
maybe just precision grappling hooks is not the right. Like, I'm not a fan of precision platformers, so I just like arcadey platformers.
Next up, we have Kaio and the Five Pirates of Mara. Oh, this is a 3D platformer. Oh, I quite like this one actually. It wasn't like the best 3D platform I've ever played, like in terms of, you know, it wasn't like, oh, it's got, you know, fucking Hat in Time level platforming. It didn't have like an amazing soundtrack. It didn't have like an amazing story. But what it did do, it did well. It was like, it was incredibly well-rounded platformer. It was a really great little relaxing little collectathon platformer. I really enjoyed this one a lot actually. But it's one of those games where, you know, I don't think it's going to have like widespread appeal. Like, it doesn't do one thing really well.
Right.
Which could just see it become, you know, middle of the pack sort of thing.
Well, they get a decent number of sales.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'll be looking out for this one. I mean, it looks really... it looks really good. I mean, I've seen a lot of... Ever since I saw the Spyro Reignited trilogy and the Insane trilogy, this sort of like almost like Disney Pixar style has become a lot more popular for 3D platformer like retro games.
It's good it's come back though, because like
I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it's nice to see back.
But yeah, basically the game is split up into hub world, and then you go around hub world and you go to levels, and then you collect stuff. It's a collectathon essentially.
It is pretty decent.
I think if there's anything in particular I want to say. It's just fun. I mean, there's not much.
Yeah.
If you look at this and you go, "Oh, this looks fun. I like collectathons." Yeah, try it. It's pretty fun. There's not much more to say than that. Like it is a fun little game to play. It's quite relaxing, so I would recommend it based on that. So what we got next? Next up we have Planet of Lana, another relaxing platformer. I guess. Because there was some not relaxing parts. I was streaming this to you actually. It's like light Limbo.
Yeah.
Or I put in brackets Limbo like. Is there a genre now where can we make like a subgenre of games where it's like they're very much like Limbo, where they're sort of like light platformers with like light stealth mechanics, and then they have light puzzles.
The thing is, Limbo to me, Limbo has the word is like brings up the perfect image of like this type of game. So Limbo like is actually perfect for me, but I could see some people no, it needs to be more.
Like another game that reminds me of, which was also an Apple, which was an Apple Arcade exclusive, as we were alluding to earlier with the Bleak DX. Little Orpheus is another game like this, where it's not the same 2D art style as this or Limbo, but that whole game is just here's some light platforming.
Yeah.
Here's some light stealth. Here's some light puzzles.
With
a slow
voice
pace.
Acting story.
Yeah, with a slow pace that's more about the atmosphere and the story than it is about the mechanics, I would say.
And again, Limbo has that connotation for me that like even Limbo like before the Limbo game is that's kind of a perfect word for this sort of things. Like stealth, creepy and atmospheric and platforming. So I'm gonna say I think Limbo like's a good name for it personally.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first games where I like really noticed this style where it kind of takes a few different genres, mixes them together, but doesn't go heavily into them. It's sort of like touches them very briefly, like very lightly, and then mashes them up to serve the story more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like it uses the gameplay mechanics as a tool to serve the story. Whereas some games do it the other way around, where the story serves the gameplay. So it's interesting to see like the differences.
Yeah, I really like the look of this game. Like, I really this is like my sort of.
I think we talked about this at the previous not E3 or like Summer Jeff Fest or whatever. Again, there will be no E3 this year. We're just gonna have
Jeff Fest all the way.
Jeff Fest and basically everyone hosting their own conferences. So hopefully,
just call it Jeff Fest because it's the time of Jeff Fest.
Hopefully, we will have a not E3 website up again where they can basically just link all the timing for these different. So essentially, you basically have this little cat, and then you have to command the cat to stand in certain places to help you solve these like light platforming, light puzzles.
There's like weird, creepy, shadowy creatures.
Yes.
And there's even more creatures. I say creatures very loosely later on. We're gonna see. Are we seeing?
Like puzzle mechanics.
There we go.
You have to hide in grass away from these creepy silhouette robots.
Yeah, I just really like these types of robots and like aesthetic. Like, I think the way they do like the human is like kind of like I don't like. It's not bad or anything. Just like it's not for me. But the rest of like the art style is I really like a lot. Like the machines and the trees and the rocks.
I was saying like light Limbo light as well because Limbo is really dark, but this game's very bright.
It's a light.
It's a light Limbo because you're like literally they've like flipped the palette and they've been like, oh, let's make everything really bright and then have that contrast with the more silhouette-y stuff. Whereas Limbo is just silhouettes and grey.
Yeah.
Or like Project Milo, the game, is very much just like faceless grey sort of stuff.
Faceless Limbo, yeah. Yeah, I think that, but because I think Limbo like is like it's more kind of like how they blend the mechanics together over like
Yeah.
what aesthetic or I mean look at that, it's like a big old one.
What's it
It's
called
beautiful.
that Arcane's usually really good with? It is uh, what's the word where you tell a story through the environment? Environment-based storytelling,
Yeah,
which I really love. I think if you
very
can tell a story through the environment, you should always do it, even if you
I
do
think
have cutscenes and
yeah
characters
because
talking.
it'd be it's like an extra layer of story that you could like infer or like try and explore yourself. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Which I think is always a good. Like, if you walk into an area of a map on a game, and I can tell exactly what's happened based on
Yeah,
the ruins or the bodies or the reactions of the people around me when I get
yeah,
there, that's always a great thing as a player because I feel like I'm in a living, breathing world more
yep.
so than a video game, and that's always a great thing. As you
So
can see
what
here,
the
there's
hell?
this rock that's following me, and that's like I think this game's pretty fun. I would
Don't
recommend
let
it
the
to
cat go
people.
in there, by the way. We figured out the hard way.
Yeah. Guys, if you're a fan of Limbo likes, make sure to check out Planet of Lana.
Yeah, I really like the art style. It's so good.
Next up, we have Slopecrashers. Uh,
I watched
it's
this one as well. This one was ridiculous.
it's basically like a simple snowboarding down a hill game.
Look at this. It's
It's
beautiful.
it's quite fun. It's just not very complex, I will
Look at
say.
Lima Day.
The dark one.
Oh my god. Yeah, maybe they should add like I don't know. Yeah, maybe like add
It's sort
slightly
of
add more
like
complexity and
it takes that
looks.
idea of something like I don't know what's that steep like
Yeah, Steve.
snowboarding down a hill
Or
or
SSX is another one.
yeah it takes that idea of snow arcadey snowboarding. It's like but let's add like Mario Kart items
Yeah,
to it,
which I love.
and you're also a fucking chicken on a frying pan at the same time with a
With a
glider,
glider. Yeah,
which I think this game was really fun. I mean,
yeah.
obviously it's not going to be for
Mate,
everyone.
the sense of speed is actually impressive.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
I think the art style might not be for everyone. Like, but it's I don't know. It's just fun and it's having fun. How can you not have fun with
it's a very
this?
simple game. Like the art and like everything is like very simple. It's not like particularly polished, but
Yeah,
what it does well. It is
it,
a four-player local co-op slope
yeah.
racer and an eight-player online racer sort of thing.
Maybe if maybe we get polished over time if people just
Again,
have
this
fun
was
with
I
it.
did this one because it was a multiplayer one, but I couldn't convince anyone to download and play Slopecrashers with me, so I just had to
Yeah,
play it by myself, unfortunately. Um, but again, what you see is what you get here. It's pretty fun. It's not gonna, it's not doing anything too crazy innovative, but
I
it's
I don't think I want
pretty
limited to
simple,
be honest.
simplistic.
I would one thing I'd actually want first is like more customization. I just think more stupid shit would be great
Mm.
because I think that's just where the fun comes from.
It reminds me of
like
a
more
game I
polished and stuff,
played.
but
Oh, what was it called? Um, where you're two balls on a string.
oh,
What's that game called? I remember it once I hit stop recording. You're two balls on a string, and you basically it's like a co-op game where you have to go down a.
that's two,
I
two,
have the game
two.
now. I bought the full game, and we've done a
Okay, I remember
Tangerine on it
the
for a demo
two
fest.
like two dogs attached by
No, not Fogs. I remember
yeah, that's
Fogs.
the one I think I'm trying to think of the other one. Balls on a string.
I'll come back to me at some point. Oh, here we go. Super Adventure Hand. This game is really, really good, and you're gonna flip out when you see how this game looks because it's amazing.
I mean, I like the art style. It's
You're gonna
very
love the art
nice.
style in a
I love
second.
the UI. The anime UI is really nice, and it's not
You
too
know the
slow. Oh, look at
Adams
that.
family.
Yes, I know the
You
Adam
know the
family.
thing, the hand.
Oh, okay.
You are thing.
Right, so this is you. Hand. Okay,
Yes.
that makes more sense. I was like, what the hell is going on with the hand?
Yeah. So
I like how it's blurred out if you don't own it yet. That's kind of cool. As if it's like censored.
So I really like this game. It's got a great UI. It's a platformer.
Oh, look at
It
that.
controls really
That's so
well. It's got
cool.
charming visual concept.
That's so creepy.
Great collectibles. Yeah. So you're moving like a hand. I thought this was such a great use of taking the idea like I just want to make a 3D platformer. They just made it so much more interesting by adding this whole like severed hand mechanic to it, where
It looks
just
yeah. No, I was saying it looks polished as well. Like the way like the particle effects and things like you're grabbing the wall. Like I could see this being like kind of glitchy if like it wasn't as polished.
it's very polished, like in terms of its aesthetics and how it controls.
Okay.
I could see them just releasing this game like in its current state with more levels, and I could see it doing very well. I want to see what would happen if I like crawled off the edge. I love
Yeah.
the spawn animation; it just drops you
Yeah.
in a box.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's hilarious.
I quite like the animation when you got the mug. I thought that was very a good reward.
Yeah. Also, I love
must
that
have
the
the mug.
collectibles are like just thimbles in this game, and then the you get to customize your hand, and the customizable things are like rings and watches you can put on your hand.
Yeah, that's cool. You like, I was like nail, just with the nails as well, right?
Skills, yeah. But I was like, there's got to be a secret over this wall. You sort of like have like spider-like mechanics where you can kind of hold on to surfaces.
Yeah, because you're crawling up and down
Yeah.
surfaces like a spider, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I could have seen them like originally designing this game and just having a spider instead of a hand, but I think it's way more interesting because it is a hand,
Yeah.
which I like.
I mean, I'd play a spider game as well, but yeah, hand is cool.
Well, I remember like showing this to some friends on Discord. I was playing it, and they were upset when the demo ended, as was I, because it was so much.
Short?
Well, showing this to people, well, it's not like super short. I played it for like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. That's a decent
But
length.
everyone I showed this to was me like, "What the fuck? That is so weird." And then immediately were like, "But this looks really fun."
Yeah.
But I think it's probably one of the
Look
best
at it.
ways to describe Super Adventure Hand. It's like
Yeah.
it is a really interesting game, and it gets like more complexity. There is some more complexity to it. It is not just like a one-note game sort of
You
thing.
got a watch.
There's also bombs you have to use to get rid of like certain obstructions in your path. Just like, yeah, I unlocked a collectible watch by collecting my my thimbles,
Right.
which is good. I was collecting a key to get through this level. Oh, there's some of the enemies are foots with eyes on them, so you know that they're your enemies. They'll come up to you and try and kick you off.
Right, they do try and kill quickly.
I love the art aesthetic. It was just like, let's just put a bunch of like filing cabinets in the middle of a void, and it just kind of works because everything.
Yeah.
It's because like you've already got this idea that you are like you're literally a platforming hand that has like spider physics. So you're already like, I guess if I'm like in an office in the middle of a void, this is okay. Oh, and I was gonna go past this, and I was like, no, I have to be a skateboarding hand. Let's go.
I mean, they put it there for a reason.
I'm literally doing. Do you remember Tech
Oh,
Decks?
you have to. Oh god. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Here.
Let's go, dude. Yeah, this game's fucking awesome.
It's surreal. You can get away with surreal levels if you got surreal concepts. So.
There's also speedrun points if you want to speedrun through levels as well.
Excellent. Yeah, this was great.
Adventure Hand. Next up we have Super Raft Boat Together. I think I played on a previous Demo Festival Super Raft Boat. I think maybe we've done a Tangerine on it. But they essentially took the idea of Super Raft Boat, which was a roguelike game where you build your own platform and then the enemies try and destroy it. Um,
2D Raft, but with guns.
yeah, like I've talked about the single player, but this was the multiplayer version. But I couldn't get anyone to play the multiplayer version with me, so here's me playing the single player version of the new game, which seems to be expanded quite a lot, actually. It does seem to be like... I mean, the first game that came out was free to play. I think the second one is going to be free to play. I could be wrong, but I have to see. Doesn't say on the page if it's going to be free or not. Essentially, the mechanics are when you're on top of the water, when you're on the raft, you can shoot, and when you're in the water, you can't shoot. So you want to expand your raft because then you have more places to shoot the enemies from, and then eventually it gets to the point where there is enemies like sharks that will come along and then try and destroy your raft, whereas the normal enemies will just try and attack you. So it becomes this like really interesting blend of trying to expand your raft while trying to stop your raft being destroyed while trying to kill enemies, and then you get points, which give you, like, you get money basically, which then lets you buy upgrades. And there's different classes as well. So I'm playing as the robot class, and as you can see here, which give me these like little robot things that like fortify my raft, basically.
Right. So they'll be harder to destroy, or they just like you get more of them?
I can't remember
like
exactly how they work. Yeah, the dolphin boss. I remember when I played the first game, there was a unique character that you basically could go into the water and stuff like that, but you couldn't survive on land. So it was kind of like flipped, where you had to... You can only breathe in the water, so you had to keep going back to the water to breathe again, but then you would come out and go back onto the raft to shoot things. I think it was like a shark or something. So there's like lots of interesting different characters and stuff like that. And then there's like... You can buy trinkets and health upgrades and stuff like that. It seems like they took the first game, added some more mechanics to it, and then slapped multiplayer onto it. And I was like, well, the first game is already like fucking awesome, so it's cool to see that they've taken this and expanded it with multiplayer. So, yeah. So, recommend this one. Oh, okay, this is a big one. This is the System Shock beta demo. I think I streamed this to you.
Yes. I think I watched all of it.
Yeah, so...
I was there for a long bit of it, at the very least.
Essentially, Night Dive were like... Sorry, I'll start again. I saw this demo come out, and I was like... I played this demo like fucking 6 years ago or whatever, right? And then I saw people saying, oh no, they've actually updated the demo. Because I've already played the original demo, and I was like, okay, I don't need to play that again. But this is... the most recent demo that is going to be the closest to like the release build of System Shock. So I went and I played this and I had a really good time. I think it is looking like really good and really polished from what I played, and I believe it's coming out. I think it's coming out at the end of this month. I think it's coming out at the end of this month. It was initially delayed.
Right.
Well, when this demo came out, it was supposed to be coming out in March, and then it got delayed till May.
Okay.
I like how it lets you select your own difficulty for like combat, missions, cyberspace, and puzzles. If I could go back and do this again,
Cyber 1.
I would put Cyber 1 and Puzzle 1.
What were the puzzles you had to do?
It was
was that like the locks and things, right?
Yeah, it was like weird balancing of that sort of stuff.
I like the puzzles, hated the cyber.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan
of you didn't get all the puzzles at all.
The cyber stuff. I just left it on the default ones to see what it was like. But I like it when games can be like, let's let you scale your own difficulty for different aspects. So like puzzles, combat.
I want this to become the default because like there's different, like you have different categories of gameplay. It's like some people just like hate certain aspects of it. It's like you need to be able to change the difficulty.
But I'm a big fan of immersive sim games. But I've never played System Shock, and it's always one I've wanted to try. And knowing how faithful Night Dive is to remastering games, them doing the full remake in Unreal Engine, of
This is like the intro is fantastic as well. It's like
yeah,
in universe, but also like showing off the companies and
yeah.
the technology.
They got
It's
this
just
great
really
like
cool.
mix of like updated graphics while still keeping those like kind of like chunky
Yeah,
pixel look to a lot of it,
yeah.
which I
Like
absolutely adore.
pixels with better lighting. That's kind of what they're going for.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
Essentially, the story is you are a hacker and you're in your apartment and you get kidnapped by this shady corporation, and they are like, we won't kill you if you remove the ethics from our AI called Showdown, because essentially there's stuff they want to do with the AI Showdown to help out their business, but they can't because of the ethics of Showdown. And it turns out once you take a powerful AI and you remove its ethics, bad stuff starts to happen on this space station. So that's the general like intro story.
Hex.
Oh, Kex, the famous Night Dive studio for running old games like the Quake remasters in that,
Yeah.
Power
This is
Slave Exhumed editions running in that.
it's a fantastic intro because like it has story, like it says the story and it sets up,
Yep.
and it's like the intro with the companies and the technologies. It's fantastic.
But yeah,
And yeah, that
really
was a drone
good.
looking trying to find you.
I wanted to eat those donuts. They look great.
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, you got the leaning mechanics for stealthing.
Do you ever use leaning?
I think I lean to look around walls and stuff like that.
Okay, I just don't know that after the intro. I don't remember you ever using leaning. But oh yeah, this is great. Is this demo still up or is this down?
Let me double check for you.
Game
I
break.
think it's gonna still be up, to be honest with you, because I think
Yeah,
system.
because
Yeah, it's still up.
I hope this is the demo they keep up.
Yeah, so the game comes out in 2 weeks, and the demo is still up.
Nice, because like it'd be yeah, because like this sort of demo is like great to like look how good it is, because then people play it
I think
and buy the game.
there's voice acting on Showdown as well in this. I believe Showdown doesn't
Yeah,
speak until 2, but Showdown and
or the
System Shock
original.
2 became so like iconic that people, I think they brought it back to this game because people loved it so much. Like, because I believe Showdown is a guy in System Shock 1, but is a woman in System Shock 2. But is also an AI, so does it really matter? I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, so
the
like,
set dressing on this
she's
intro
so
is great.
creepy.
I like how they just let you just walk around here until they're like, FBI, open up!
Yeah. It's what you get for downloading downloading games illegally.
Yeah. But it does set up this, because throughout the game it's like showing us like you're like a disgusting hacker who has to be stopped and stuff like that.
So you get taken to Saturn.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just say, okay, they're about to say what type of orbit. I don't know if I can't remember what they say. It was here or it was like just before. It's like it doesn't make any sense. The orbit doesn't 6. There's no L6 orbit. That's not a thing.
See if they say it. I don't know.
I think it was either there or like somewhere else. They said it.
I just wanted to skip to the gameplay because
yeah.
So you start out again chunky pixel look.
Yeah. Oh, Tetris inventory.
Yeah, attaché case sort of inventory. You start out, you find a lead pipe, and then you basically something has gone very wrong in this space station since an AI's ethical chip was disabled. There's zombies everywhere. There's like these zombie creatures.
Welcome back to Citadel Station. We hope your somnolent healing stage went well. Today is the 6th day of November.
And then you just find like dead bodies and skulls and stuff everywhere. And it's got that environmental storytelling again that immersive sims are great for.
Yeah.
You have environmental storytelling.
And level 7 is systems engineering.
A lot of like the story told to you is through audio logs Oh, this was the puzzle
I really like this puzzle.
that I was really confused by.
It's just like a slightly different variation. That's in my opinion more interesting than the water pipe puzzle.
In Alpha Quadrant. We hope you have a pleasant stay on
I really like the aesthetics of this. Like I really like this puzzle. It's really good.
But
It's just
you have stuff like audio logs.
Yellow.
You read text logs. You go into rooms and you see sort of like what's happened there. Great environmental storytelling. You get like a lead pipe, which you get use your melee weapon, and then you get like some basic guns. One's better against like humans. One's better against mechanical enemies. There is a mixture of like mechanical enemies and robotic enemies. There's even like a boss as well. So you may have seen me earlier destroying a security camera, and that's actually really important to this game. You have to destroy security cameras to reduce the security, and when you reduce security by destroying these cameras, that lowers Showdown's hold on that level of the space station you're on, which then allows you to go to different places. Like Showdown at one point is holding you from using the elevator, but once you've destroyed enough of her security cameras and destroyed some CPU cores of hers, you can then go to another level. Which I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Essentially, the way picking up random crap in this game works is it's sort of it reminds me of Prey 2017, which I assume is maybe reminding me of System Shock, the original. The way it works on Prey 2017 is you basically pick up everything and then you put it into like a moleculizer and it turns it into its raw materials, and then you use those raw materials to print whatever you need, like a 3D printer. This essentially does something similar. Basically, you take items and then you scrap them at a vending machine, and then that gives you coins, which you then spend at the vending machine to buy like healing items or like attacking items, stuff like that. For as much as you use the melee item, I think it was actually quite hard to tell you're doing damage with it. Like, it felt very light.
Yeah.
I was trying to type
it
like...
takes a few swings.
I was trying to type like 451. I think it's... The passcode to the Looking Glass offices is like 451 or something. Looking Glass code, what is it? 0451 was the code to their offices. So in a lot of immersive sim games, as an homage to Looking Glass and stuff like Deus Ex and stuff like that, they basically a lot of doors in immersive sims these days will have that as their code to like pay homage. So that's why I was trying it there.
Yeah, it's at least one place. It's assumed, you assume at least one place has that.
So these are the robotic enemy. Yeah, the Borg.
Oh, I love the sound of them. They sound like the Borg.
Yeah. But I felt like the melee swing, I wish it was weightier, like it had more of like an impact animation. It was like, I'm doing a lot of damage here. I think that was one of
less swings, but more damage.
Yes.
And more impact. Yeah.
I would like to feel the impact of the gun. The impact of the pipe. I think that would be good.
Because especially like when you run out, I know like because the idea is that kind of like once you get weapons that you're trying to survive with the ammo that you have, like you want to be as efficient as you can with the ammo, but like there at some point you're gonna have to fall back to the melee weapons. It's like it should feel good to use as a fallback.
Yeah, you can see their level securities are now at 84%. So essentially, your main objective in the game is lowering security because you're trying to wrestle control of the space station back from Showdown, who has taken over.
Yeah. You have to but you're kind of like a maze of like trying to get through doors and locations.
And then there'll be certain areas where this room is full of radiation. You can't go through this room yet, or this room has a bridge that needs to be activated from a different way, and you'll have to solve a different puzzle to get through to that. Which is cool. So this is the dispenser system where you get credits and then you use that to buy med kits, stamina. There is a berserk, which I think like increases your damage or something like that. Let's go to do I have footage of cyberspace? Yes,
Yeah,
here we
there
go.
it is.
Cyberspace. I wrote down. Cyberspace really needs a tutorial. I went through it several times before I figured out what I was supposed to be doing in there. Like, I went through the entirety of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I completed it. And then I was like, oh wait, no, I didn't complete the objective. I didn't realize that was the objective.
I don't think I like the concept at all. I don't think it makes any sense.
Well, I think the original System Shock had something not too similar from this. Let me look it up.
I don't have a problem with like, the idea of like a shoom up, but like I don't know, just the way you do the objectives just doesn't. It's not that appealing of a game mode to me.
Like System Shock 1, I think had something similar to this, and it's very like old graphic. It's more like frame wire.
Yeah.
But then when you go into cyberspace, it's sort of like
more Tron.
When you go into cyberspace it's sort of like a roguelite where at the start of it you only have one power and then you collect things to get more powerful and different weapons.
Yeah.
Essentially you're going in to try and destroy the like core in there, but I didn't realize that until I played through it several times.
Yeah, I understand, but I don't know. I just feel like the actual gameplay isn't.
All I'm saying is, I would rather play this than most hacking minigames.
Yeah, fair. I just feel like they could really polish this and make it feel better.
Yeah, again, my points about this are there's no tutorial. It needs to be tutorialized, and I think people would have a lot easier time with this.
I still think that the movement needs to be better and stuff, but yeah.
The whole idea of
powers
like System Shock is you're a hacker, and they were like, how do we make being a hacker cool? Let's put them into cyberspace. And that was the idea of the original game.
Yeah, and then like you're like firing like instead of like organic viruses, like they're kind of like robotic viruses, like because viruses and protection malware, right?
Yeah.
But okay, but what if like you were on Tron cycles and it was like a race? What if that's how you hacked?
Maybe.
You have to get there before the malware got you.
It's Night Dive, so they're trying to be as authentic to the original game as possible. And this is very much like the original game from what I can see.
The thing is, this is like a first-person bullet hell in a way, sort of. Yeah. But there needs to be more abilities and stuff to make that interesting, in my opinion. I don't like how that's implemented. The way it looks, like the actual aesthetic of it is great.
There's a bug where every enemy that you'd killed would respawn but immediately die because they were dead. So you would just, when you came into like cyberspace and stuff, you would see an enemy and go, oh, they're alive, and then they would just immediately flop to the ground. That was like a weird bug I encountered.
Is that only with cyberspace? Was that with the going through doors as well?
It was just like loading, like the map again, essentially. Anything you did that did that. Oh, you can see here I'm collecting cubes now. It's because I've realised you can scrap things.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to hoard cubes of scrap so I can buy more shit. Yeah, this demo...
You had a strategy.
This demo was really good. I played the whole thing. This recording is like 2 hours long.
Yeah, you did complete it.
You've got like a pistol, and then you have like a spark beam, which is better against like robotics. There was like a boss fight. Oh, there was more cyberspace.
No.
It was the boss fight. It was like a robot you had to fight.
I feel like this guy wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like just terrifying, as that you just always have to run away or something, and then like you just have to shoot him a couple of
Throwing some grenades at him.
Yeah. Like you should be like something like, oh, if you even get close to him, like you're dead, like you're scared to like approach him.
Got him.
I don't know, but it's still cool anyway. Just
I like
idea.
the idea that the boss is just a security robot because that is
Yeah.
what Showdown would throw against you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Highly recommend System Shock. I'm really, really excited for the full game to come out. Next up we have Togges. Super Rumba game, kind of like Katamari Damacy.
Sorry, what was it called?
Togges. Togges, I guess.
Okay, interesting. That's not a real word.
It's a Super Rumba game. It's kind of like Katamari Damacy in reverse. I was not a big fan of the block mechanic. It sounded
Right.
cool, but in action it was very finicky, and the demo also crashed, and I was like, well, fuck that shit.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Oh,
like,
it's this one. Yes, I saw it. Yeah, I didn't get this one.
you were like a
I didn't understand the
Roomba,
cubes.
but you had to like place blocks around to climb up stuff, but then you also had to suck stuff in with your Roomba.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
I was like, because I've seen the demo. I've talked about this on the podcast before. I think I was like, oh, this looks really interesting, but in practice, I just found it really tedious.
Okay, hear me out here. In my head, if you're making a Roomba game where you suck stuff out, you need levels and progression. Why not have it where you have to suck stuff up, and then once you reach a certain amount, you can upgrade and like make yourself bigger and more complicated.
I don't know if there was that sort of thing. I never got through the tutorial phase without the
I
game
don't think
crashing.
there is from what I've seen
So
other people do. So
let's talk about what's this one called? Tray races. Oh, I quite like tray races. Quite a surprising one. Tray races. It's sort of like Descenders mixed with Dune. That's how I'm going to describe it.
okay.
There's a BMX game called Descenders, which is just about cycling down a hill.
Right.
And that is essentially
What the?
you're just going down a hill, a sand hill on a train. That's why I said Dune.
Yeah,
It's like,
what?
that's how you spawn. You essentially got a worm like spits you out and you go down a hill and you're just trying to get to the bottom as fast as possible. And then you play online and you're just trying to race against other people. And I don't want to toot my horn, but playing online, I won every single time. It was the way I won was like the most frustrating way as well for other people, I would assume. I kept because there's like a practice range where you try and get in your best times, and I always came last in practice mode. And then when the actual race started, I won.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm saving it all for the real thing. Oh, there's customizable stuff. So you can customize your character, and I just played Psychonauts, and I was like, how do I make my character look the most like Raz from Psychonauts? That was my objective. Here's me playing online. You get to... Before the race starts, you can kind of jump up and down and dance, but that's about it. There's not much... You can't really... I don't think you can type. You sort of just ready up.
There's no emotes or anything either.
But there's emotes, yeah, but there's not really
okay.
any way to interact. You can kind of like dance and wave, that's about it.
Right.
I'll show you like some gameplay. So this is what the game looks like. You're essentially just trying to get...
Is good.
Yeah. You have like a limited amount of time. You're trying to get your best run in, and then
Right.
After this like practice time, because as soon as you get down to the bottom, it spits you out back at the top, and then once all your practice runs are done, you then basically have the big race at the end where you take your knowledge of running the map and you apply that and try and get your best time in like a race condition, which I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah.
But I had quite a lot of fun with this one. I think it's like you like lean forward to go faster downhill, and then I think it's you lean back to go faster uphill, or it might be the other way around. I might be forgetting it. But yeah, I guess you would want more friction on the back of the board. I don't know. Friction by space, but there was a couple of maps. There was a sand one. There was like a water one with like frogs and stuff.
Yeah, so there's still a worm in the The
I don't
water
remember. I
one?
have to have a look. You just say this is the actual race now. Because this is the frog. I think the frogs are on here. Maybe yeah.
Oh,
I think the
okay.
frogs are in the water. Maybe.
Okay,
But you can
little
see I
ponds.
came last in all the practice, and then I just win the race. Just a huge move. So all the practice time doesn't really matter. I don't think it really doesn't. It's just
No,
to
you're just
help you
learning the
learn the
course.
map. It's me dancing, doing my Fortnite dancing. And then this is another map. So this is another sound map, but this one has more of like a village vibe to it. And then it has like this water area down the bottom. This game's really fun. Like it's nothing like too special, but it was like it had a good sense of like movement and speed to it, and it was fun in multiplayer again. My friends no want to play with me, so I just played online. But even if you just played online against random people, it was pretty fun. I mean, I only managed to get like a couple of people on the online demo version, but whether people would get this and play it online for the full version, I don't know. It didn't seem like super popular during the demo multiplayer, so if you're wanting to pick this up just to play multiplayer against other people, I don't know if there will be a large player base for this game when it comes out.
And there's no single player other than like time trials of the
No,
maps.
not really. You would just be time trialing these. I think it is very much a multiplayer game from what I experienced.
Okay.
Move on to the next one. Next one we have Valfaris Mecha Therion. I kept playing a lot of these games where it was like shoot 'em up sort of games, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. But like when I saw the image for because this is one of the recommended ones. When I saw the image for this, I expected to like not like it, but I actually think I ended up liking it more than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
It's a fun like shoot 'em up that basically has you switching from melee to power up your shots, and then so you see the gun here.
Oh, you.
There's an ammo bar,
Parry,
and to recharge the ammo bar, you have to use your sword as a melee to get more ammo. So you're constantly having to switch between shooting and meleeing. And then there's also this mechanic where you can have different guns and different melee weapons that have different abilities.
That's cool. Yeah, that's
yeah.
really cool. This is what the cyber bit of System Shock needs. More abilities.
Okay. System Shock Cyber mode.
Yeah, just put this in the game, but 3D. There, we've solved the problem.
Oh, you can also charge into battle for more damage as well.
That's great. Yeah, this is great. Like you've actually got different abilities as a shoot-up. This is fantastic.
You boost to break through things. You can boost to enemies to attack them, which is also good if you need to like boost into melee to get more ammo. And then if you boost into an enemy, it gives you a guaranteed critical strike. The game's like, I don't know. It's kind of like Doom Eternal or like Doom 2016 in its design. It's like you're constantly firing your gun, but it's also designed in a way where you need to keep going forwards and engaging in combat to get like your ammo back and do stuff. Whereas in other games, a lot of the times it goes, oh, if you need to heal or get more ammo, you need to try and run away from combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. This game, it's got a good blend of like rock music and like this 3D PSX sort of art design, which I quite like. With this like 2D, 3D wave based like linear progression through levels. And then mid-level again, you can go to these shrines which let you swap your guns out. You get like you can go from like having an arc gun to having like a shotgun. Like there's a lot of like weapon variety, which I found really cool. See if I can find a different weapon. Oh, here's like a fucking minigun I had, which is quite cool. Is like how you... Oh, and you can upgrade your weapons with blood metal you get during the thing. So you might want to try different weapons, but if you really like to specialize in one weapon, you can put more points into it and level up that weapon. So you're rewarded for trying new stuff, but you're also rewarded for favoring certain weapons that you like, which I thought was a really, really cool idea.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid then between like doing the turn of and...
But I thought this game was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
The mechanics look great. This is what I want from
this is the like shotgun, where you get like really close and personal with the enemies.
Is that a hammer you've got now as well?
Yes, you get new melee weapons and a hammer's one of them.
Oh, it has like a shockwave. That's really cool. Yeah, this is how you make like a show. You have like different abilities. Like other games need to learn from this because I don't know. It's been a while since like I've been excited about different abilities and different weapons with the shoe mode.
And we got Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. So immediately I saw this one and I was like, oh, this is going to be another 16-bit platformer like the other Game Boy Advance ones I played, and I'm going to hate it. I was like, I went it because this one was recommended again. I was like, oh, I'm going to hate this. Because I've been playing all those like clumsy feeling like Game Boy platformers, right? But this just felt smooth. Okay. Yeah, like I think I kind of liked this one. Like there was combat was smooth. There was plenty of checkpoints, so I never felt like, oh, if I die, I just immediately lose all my progress and I gotta go back to the beginning. Like it didn't feel like, because a lot of like those retro games, they'll go, oh, the retro games are really like unfairly hard. Let's make our throwback game unfairly hard. That's what made those games great. And I'm like, to some people maybe, but to me, no.
Again, you could have a checkpoint difficulty slider.
It was fast, but it was fair, this game. It was like, I never felt like I played the Metroid Dread game recently, and there were some tough parts in that game, but whenever I died, I was always like, oh, I could have done better. That's how I felt playing this game. I was like,
didn't feel like the controls were in the way.
There was no bullshit mechanics. It was just like, when I lost, it was because of me, and I was like, oh, okay, I will improve. And there was lots of interesting enemy mechanics. Like, a lot of the enemies had certain attacks that felt really interesting to play against. I can't remember off the top of my head because I played these games like 2 or 3 months ago. But maybe if we get into the footage, I remember some of them. This is from my notes. It was really cool. I like the aesthetic. I like the sprite work. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, this is sort of like
it's just very interesting. Area. Oh, so the holographic look was only the tutorial area.
This is how it starts. You're like in a bioweapon lab, and you just break out and kill everyone. It's sort of like the start of Carrion.
Yeah.
Where they just see like these scientists who are terrified of you hiding. That's another thing. You can like deflect projectiles with your sword. You can like chop them up. Some of the projectiles, which is a cool mechanic. So you're sort of like half samurai, half like Mega Man sort of character, I guess. In a way. Okay. I believe you have like a blaster, but you also have like a sword. I could be wrong. But yeah, this game is really cool. Good boss fights as well, with good designs. It was kind of like Metroidy in a way as well, the boss fights. So cool to see. Yeah, I would recommend this one as well. And then finally we have Voidtrain. Raft in interdimensional space is the best way to describe this game. I think we talked about. I think it was an Epic Games Store exclusive for a long time. I think it's been in early access for a while. And essentially, you stumble upon this lab, and you find a train that is like flying through outer space. It sort of starts off very slowly, and then essentially you're like tied to this interdimensional train, and you basically have to fly off it to gather resources. Sort of reminds me of Breath Edge is another game like this, where it's in outer space, and you have to essentially you're tethered to a base to get oxygen, and then you have to fly out and get resources and come back and use that to do crafting. Which I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then if you
Yeah,
want,
I think where did
oh,
we
go on.
see this? That I think I saw like a trailer that this was.
We've
really
talked about.
cool.
I think we talked about trailers for this on the podcast several times.
Yeah,
through like
it looks great,
E3 and
though.
when it released on Epic. But I think it's coming out of early access like really soon.
Okay.
I think it came out yesterday on Steam out of early access. So we can have a look what people are saying about it. It's got mixed reviews. See what people are saying. Wish there was a neutral option for this one. On the one hand, I really like this. It's Raft on a steampunk space train, after all. However, the research aspect is very linear. You can only research specific things. You unlock the next few items, then the next. Yeah, from what I played, it did seem like pretty linear. I mean, it tutorializes the beginning, and then it's like, you need to build a crafting table. You need to build a furnace. You now need to gather ore. You now need to build a crafting tool or whatever. And then you get to like these set, because I didn't know if this was just for the demo, you get to like these set train station stops where the train will come to a full stop. And then you get to get off the train for a bit and explore them without the rope tether to them, which then
Right.
give you like mechanics you need to advance in the story. I guess like the main pull of this is that it's an interesting survival game. Sort of like in the same way like Raft or like Skyblock exists, where you have to survive with limited space to build on.
Yeah, it's like actually like a challenge instead of just
Yeah.
I don't know, like more of a sandbox, I suppose.
Yeah. It seemed pretty fun from what I play. It seems like the main aspect is going to be trying to figure out what's going on with the story. I think it's some sort of like World War II, like Nazi shit going on, maybe, and you're trying to. I think there's an enemy train in the demo because you get like a pistol as well, which you mainly use to. Oh, I love that I have a horn on there. It's looking too.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
But you get a gun to shoot because there's like flying creatures in space that you can shoot and fight with. I think the demo ends with like there's an enemy train and it's pulling up like on a parallel path with you, and I'm like,
Okay.
what the fuck is going on? Do you remember the episode of Voyager where they're in like outer space and there's essentially like a bunch of raiders who go around stealing? They're in a void where like no resources exist, so the only way to
Yeah.
get resources is by raiding other people.
Yeah.
And it's Jamie like forms a coalition with them, but then she finds out they raided people, so she refuses to work with them.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she forms like her own coalition with other ships that just come into the void. I'm going off a bit of tangent, but it is a void that happened in this. But the idea that if other ships and trains existed in this void, they would have to kind of. The only way to get resources would be to basically pillage other people's trains.
Is there like a Titan like in that final like scene is like she had like a giant serpent? What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So they're gonna be like beasts and things to.
Yeah, I mean the full
to
game's
do, I
out of early
suppose?
access now.
Okay.
But it seems like it's been getting mixed reviews from its release so far. But yeah,
Right.
that game, it looked interesting. It was pretty fun from what I played of it, but interesting to see like how the full game turns out now that it's fully come out. Seems like people are feeling mixed things about it. It says early access, so I think it's released in early access on Steam, I guess. I think it was in early access on Epic, and it's still technically in early access
Right.
on Steam. So interesting to see a game like this. Like I played Sons of the Forest recently, the new The Forest game, and I played it and I completed it, and I was like, man, I wish I completed this in like a couple of years. Because I'm like, there's so much like good DNA to the game, but it feels like it would have been a much better experience when it was like a more full game, when they like fully
because it
finished
has
it.
story on it, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the end of the demo festival. I think my favorite games from the demo festival, if you want to put a favorite timestamp in, No More Rainbows VR, really good. Super Adventure Hand, really, really, really fun game. Valfaris, Mecha Therion. Is there any other ones that I was particularly? System Shock is a favorite.
Say no more rain.
Bleak Sword DX. No More Rainbows.
I don't know if you said that or not.
Yeah, I said that one
I mean, I really like
first.
Planet of Lana, so.
Yeah, I think that one's interesting, but I don't know if it was like the standout game from there.
Oh, okay. For me, it definitely was. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
you
other
could
ones you mentioned are
add
definitely as well,
add
though.
the Tony favorites as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm just adding a section of favorite games. You have to skip to the times to know what we want, what we like the
But
most.
that is the demo festival from spring, and it only took us like 2 to
2
3
hours.
months to do it. So,
I only got 2 hours to make the video link.
and yeah, if you feel like this is too long and you skip to the end, feel free to skip back and just click on the games that look interesting.
Yeah.
Again, the idea of these things is you can kind of just skip along to the stuff that looks interesting, or you can just
Skip past
straight
if it's boring.
skip straight to the favorites part and then just check out the ones that I thought were particularly interesting.
I know this is at the end, and like maybe we should say this at the start, but I didn't realize how long it'd be, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, what I normally do with things of this length is like, oh, I'll start watching like a section on one game, and go, oh, I don't care, and skip right to the next one.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of doing it.
I legitimately tried to make this one shorter, but again, I'm talking about like 30 game demos I played.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I will see you in summer when I play
Yeah.
VR games in blistering heat while also being sick from motion sickness.
You
probably.
could just not do that. You could just no
Imagine-
VR games in summer.
I'm hoping they do it again where they make a VR festival that last year they did a VR festival that happened on the hottest day of the year in the UK.
Yeah.
So
Oven hot, as I called it.
I will see you next time.
Jesus.
Goodbye.
Bye.